This is Adam Miller, movies correspondent and associate producer for The RPM Show, here to tell you about a new movie called Priest. Now, this movie stars Paul Bettany, Carl Urban, Maggie Q, Christopher Plummer, and in a small cameo appearance, Stephen Moyer from HBO's True Blood. Now, Priest takes us into a rather alternate world, one that has been ravaged for centuries by warfare between men and vampires. The men are, of course, led by these warrior priests that are working for the church. And the vampires are not human-like as we are used to, but they're more like these CGI creatures. Now, the thing is, after centuries of warfare, the movie picks up at a time when the war is thought to be over. What happens is the humans that are left are taken to these cities, these dystopian-like cities that are built and are now run by the church. The priests that are remaining still have been stripped of their powers and are now under a sacred vow, in which they are forbidden to take upon their powers again to fight vampires. They're told that the war is over, and that's that. They need to move on. However, what happens is Paul Bettany's niece, who is living on the outskirts with his brother and his sister-in-law, is kidnapped by a couple of vampires. And what happens is the vampires are now told to be on a collision course to drive the priests outside of the cities and take over. The war is still going on. The vampires have discovered a secret way to get themselves behind the walls of these cities, so that's that. So Paul Bettany must break his vow and take upon his powers again to fight the vampires, and of course tell the church that the war's not over yet. Now, the movie itself, I have to say it was very entertaining. But here's my biggest beef with it was I felt that it was a little too rushed. Now, see, the thing is, it was well paced, but at the same time, it was felt a little rushed. I think that it could have used a lot more character development and a lot more story plots, mostly because I felt that there was a lot more behind these characters that really a little bit more development, a little bit more story could have really brought out, or actually given them a lot more flavor. It would have explained a lot more for their actions and motivations of why they're doing this. You know, why they choose to go this way, why they choose to fight in this war, why is this war so important? Just those little things they could have used a little bit more of. Really, see, that was my biggest problem with it. It was good. It was a good movie. However, as I said, it could have used a lot more story and more character development. So that was my biggest thing. That was the one thing I had with it. That's all it could use. Now the thing is, on entertainment value, it was really entertaining. There's really good action scenes, a lot of good dialogue. Paul Bettany is a great actor. I think he really loves playing these religious themed, roles, like in the Da Vinci Code, Legion, or, Creation, which was an independent movie. So he does a really good job. He's supported by a good cast, veteran actor Christopher Plummer, who's been in the business since the 50s, Sound of Music, Star Trek 6, a whole bunch of stuff. Maggie Q, Carl Urban, and everybody does a good job. Now the 3D thing, I saw this movie in 3D. I have to say, it was all right. It was in some scenes it really paid off, but really, it was rather. I still think it was unnecessary. I think this the 3D thing is still getting out of control, but that's just me. But in terms of actuality, I think the 3D thing was a little unnecessary. Now granted, in some scenes it was effective and it was cool, but at the same time, it just, why? What was the need for it? So anyway, that was my whole the thing on the 3D thing. Now, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. Now, see, the thing is, it loses points mostly because of what I said before. It could have used a little bit more character development, more story, so to really, enhance the plot. So that's what I took little points off for. It was a good movie. It was entertaining. It was a good summer movie. So but it still had a few issues that I think needed to be worked out. So I want to know what you think. Am I on the A ball with this movie or am I not? Did you like it or did you not? And what is your reason to that effect? So email me, Adam@therpmshow.com. Also, go to our website, therpmshow.com. Also, link with us on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Hub Pages, YouTube, Blueberry, and of course, download our shows on iTunes. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can get instant access to all of our other videos. And also, friend us on Facebook. You can also friend me, my two co-hosts, Ryan and Mike, respectively. The summer is just starting, so there's a lot more coming out, a lot more to review, and a lot more to write. So, until then, until our next review or our next story, or anything that comes to mind that we want to put on our YouTube page, we will bring it to you as quick as possible. So, until next time, this is Adam Miller for the RPM Show saying stay tuned and see you later.